Hello and welcome to my college basketball Saturday top 25 review. You should like and subscribe. That's really cool. If you have any video ideas, tell me in the comments, but let's just not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So before I actually start, I'd recommend watching the predictions to get like a better, whatever about my reasoning on my predictions. But basically what I'll do is prediction and then the actual final score. So this was the score that I predicted this game be. I didn't know if Virginia Tech had it in them. I know this is like a big time rivalry, especially in basketball, and especially since Virginia is number 6 and Virginia Tech is hosting them. There was going to be a lot of fans, maybe some momentum behind Virginia Tech, but I still gave it to Virginia, to be honest. I don't really know why I gave the upper hand to Virginia. I should have just given the upper hand to Tech. I said there was major upset potential in this, and I was right. Close game, but Virginia Tech takes down Virginia. Virginia is a little overrated, so I wasn't very surprised by this. I was more happy by this than anything else because, yeah, I don't like the really overrated teams just sitting up in the top 10 like they are right now. Speaking of overrated, Kansas at Iowa State, I said this one would be a much closer game and a much more higher scoring game. And let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. My idea of basketball scores, especially in college, are like way out of range. I don't know why, but a lot of my predictions on this specific video were like really high scores, and a lot of them were not high scores. So some of my predictions are right, some of them are just wrong because I don't know, I just think that these teams will drop 85 points a game. Like, I get it, that's making a lot of baskets, and honestly, this is college basketball, so I know that for next time, so don't hate me because I'm beautiful. But basically, yeah, I said this one would be a high score going into overtime. It was not. In fact, Kansas played terribly. I mean, 53 points in 2 halves is quite bad. Yeah, and I mean, look at that. Jalen Wilson had 26 points for Kansas. That's ridiculous. 26 of your 53 points. That's kind of crazy. Whereas the highest score on Iowa State had 15, and they won by 15 points. So it's like the rest of the Kansas team just was not there. It was all that one guy. Nothing really to be said here other than down with the Jayhawks. UConn at Georgia. I got fucking Georgetown score spot on, but goddamn UConn. Goddamn, do you have to just embarrass? I mean, I don't even care for you, UConn, but you're embarrassing me because of my prediction. Like, come on. You guys were ranked number 3, man. What the hell happened? Honestly, I think with this win, they should drop off of the rankings because they barely won this game against arguably the worst team in their conference. Barely beat them. I know Georgetown didn't have a full fucking stadium, and they were just so hyped to beat this UConn team. Georgetown is like, they're 5-14 or something. They're 6-18. They're the opposite of your record, UConn. Just not nice to see a top 24 team struggle like this, and I kind of just hope they get beaned by somebody so they can get knocked out. Texas Tech at Baylor. I was pretty much right about this. In the prediction video, I said Baylor was going to knock out Texas Tech. So, of course, I predicted them knocking out Texas Tech. I was right. Almost got Texas Tech's score spot on, but I was off by 7 on Baylor. It was more of a beatdown than I expected. And, yeah, so nothing much to be said here. Texas Tech isn't that good. Oh, boy. I would have considered this probably one of the games of the week. Big time game right here for the SEC. And for number 2 Tennessee, maybe to make a statement. Well, yeah, I said Tennessee would win by 7 in a relatively high scoring game because, I mean, these are two pretty good offenses, or so it would seem. But no, both teams put under 50 points up. I mean, what? That's your number 2. That's your number 2 team and your number 25 team. Auburn put up 19 points in the first half, and Tennessee put up 23. Auburn put up 24 points in the second half. Tennessee put up 23. That is so crazy. That is just so crazy. That is the worst top 25 matchup performance I have seen. This was the game I actually chose to watch too. I woke up, this game was on, and I was like, yo, I'm going to watch this game because I'm actually interested in it. And yeah, I pretty much sat on my phone the whole time and occasionally glanced up at the screen because I was watching pure torture. It was torture for my eyes. I could not believe this. Tennessee should not be ranked number 2. Let's get that out of the way. And I've said this. Tennessee, one of their 3 losses, they got knocked out by Colorado, okay? And with that being said, that should be enough to keep them out of the second place. But no, they favored him over 2-loss Houston, which is ridiculous. And if this game does not make a statement, I don't know what will. They should move Houston up ahead of Tennessee at the very least. I would say it's fair for them to keep them above Alabama, but maybe even put U of A above both of Alabama and Tennessee. Because Tennessee is not number 2 worthy, and it pisses me off that they are number 2. Butler at Marquette. I said this would be a relatively easy game for Marquette, just going down the court and scoring and whatnot. But I said Butler would give them a little bit of trouble. I still said there would be no way that Butler wins this game, but I expected Butler to give them a little bit of trouble. Well, they did, but again, another extremely low-scoring game. Yeah, it looks like Butler really kicked up the pace, the momentum in the second half. In the first half, they scored 20 points. And in the second half, they scored 32. That's a big difference. That's a whole 12-point difference. Whereas Marquette scored 32 in the first half and then 28 in the second half. So they stayed pretty much the same. But yeah, 32 and 28 points. I don't know, man. That's just not very good. These low-scoring games and whatnot, man, sometimes it's you look at them and you're like, are you really top 25? Marquette has not lost in a while, though, so, I mean, honestly, Marquette should be, I'd say in the top 5, personally. Me personally. Of course, that would never happen. Well, I mean, it will maybe if they keep winning throughout the season, but right now they will not jump up there, although I do believe they deserve it. Yeah, because they were a 5-loss team way early on in the season, and they just haven't lost since. TCU at Oklahoma State. I said Oklahoma State would win this by a close game. Got TCU's score right, but Oklahoma State wanted to put some more points down. 6-point game. I had a feeling Oklahoma State is a very good team. All right, for what their record says, they're 14-9. I don't believe they deserve to be disregarded because of that, because they're much better than 14-9. And they beat 15 TCU. That's an impressive win. So yeah, I mean, nothing really else to be said. Miami at Clemson, matchup of the shitters, matchup of the overrateds. I said Clemson would take it because honestly, I've never really watched these two teams. The only time I watched one of them was when Clemson got beat by Boston College. So I was like, I'll just give it to Clemson since they have the home field. Psych. Miami decides they want to keep the top 25 going, and Clemson will be the one to be knocked out. Close game, pretty high score. I'd say I was relatively close. Yeah, if 80 off by 2, I was off by 7 on them, but that was because I gave them the upper hand, of course. Next game, Purdue at Indiana. I said Purdue would win it, or I'm sorry, Indiana would win it. I was really close to getting Purdue's score off a little bit on Indiana's score, but Indiana could have dusted my prediction if they kept playing the way they did in the first half, but they kind of shut down in the second half. I mean, still having a good half, don't get me wrong. I mean, not really, actually. Not really at all. The first half score was 35 Purdue, 50 Indiana. 50 points and a half? That's impressive, dude. But in the second half, Purdue scored 39, Indiana scored 29. They kind of shut down in the second half. It was a little whatever. The dude Purdue is Zach Edey or Zach, I have no idea how to say that last name. He's what, like 6'11", or I don't know if he was either 6'11" or 7'4". I can't remember. He's so freaking tall, and he scored 33 points. 33 points, dude. That is crazy. He's probably going to be like one of the top picks in the draft, the NBA. I would not be surprised because, dude, no matter what you say, 33 points against Indiana, that is mighty impressive, dude. I get you're tall and you have long arms, but, dude, that's still really impressive, man. Good shit for that guy. Alabama at LSU. I said LSU would give him a hard time, but I still gave the upper hand to Alabama. Well, I was right in a way. 10-point game. It was pretty much like this the whole game through. Alabama really just got the advantage in the first half. It was 44-37 going into halftime, whereas LSU really shortened the score in terms of scoring. Yeah, nice one, Parker. In terms of scoring, Alabama scored 35 points in the second half, and LSU scored 32. So if they would have done that in the first half, this game would have been either a lot closer, maybe even a dub. But they didn't, and they lost. So, I mean, nothing really to be said there. I didn't expect Alabama to lose, but I just expected LSU to make it a little bit more difficult, but they didn't. Texas at Kansas State. I said Kansas State would win this because I do think they're just better than Texas. But, you know, what a better way to sell the season. I don't know. My friend said that there was a game that like controversy struck and people were like pissed or something like that. And then I asked wait, I don't know what I'm saying. Fuck that. Let me restart. Oh my Jesus Christ. Somebody said that there was controversy that struck potentially in this game. He couldn't remember, which is awesome. Of course, don't just forget. And he said that, like, controversy struck. I don't know if it was in this game or not, but judging by the final score and this little picture I see here of the score 65-66, I'm a little like, I don't know. But, yeah, Texas takes the dub at Kansas State. Sorry for that mental shit. Yep, Texas just destroyed Kansas State's season. Not really. But Kansas State just sold their top 5 appearance right here with a loss to Texas. You cannot really lose games like this at home if you're ranked number 7 in the country. That's just not good. FAU at Charlotte. This game was actually looking a little sketchy. Charlotte was up 31-30 at the half. And it was a little bit lower scoring, but Charlotte just shut down in the second half. They scored like 31. They scored 21 points. And FAU scored 37. So, yeah, they just kind of shut down. FAU is, what's their record now? They should just be, they're 22-2. Tied for the best record in the league with Purdue and Houston. Well, not Houston yet, but with Purdue. Actually, no, not with Purdue. I think Purdue's 21. So, they technically have the best record in the league unless there's somebody who's undefeated or something. I don't know. Maybe there is, but they're just some random-ass school. St. John's at Xavier. I looked at St. John's. I was like, they're not that good, so I just gave it to Xavier by a landslide, and sure enough, they won it by a landslide. This is one of those games where it's like you just put up points, and then all of a sudden they drop 96. Like, okay, sure, just go crazy, Xavier. Go crazy. Xavier's a really good team. I feel like they're very underrated, and they should be in like the top 10, especially with the win over Providence. I think they should be up in like number 10. A win over Providence, close, sketchy game, but a win over a top 15. Yeah, top 15 team. And then this absolute domination. I say you put them in the top 10. Washington State at UCLA. Oh boy, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. 85 to 89 was my prediction because I know both of these teams have it in them to just put up points. Washington State, I said it last video for a little bit. I don't know if they still are. They were the best three-point shooting team in the Pac-12. They beat U of A at U of A by just dropping bombs on them. UCLA, I went to the ASU UCLA game, and oh boy, they have some shooters. They could shoot. So I was like, I predict this game will just be like, this game could get real crazy. If it gets loud in there, people start getting hyped, this game could get crazy. Well, no. Washington State forgot how to play basketball, and UCLA kept their pace going. Washington State just forgot how to play basketball. 26 in the first half, 26 in the second half. UCLA actually played great ball. And, yeah, with this win, I believe they should move up in the rankings. I mean, they will because teams above them got knocked out, but yeah. OSU at Arizona, I said it would be a domination, and oh my God, I was almost on the dime. I said 84 to 58. It was 84 to 52. I was so freaking close to on the dime. If I would have fucking nailed this score, especially it being such a blowout, I would have been I would have freaked out. Gonzaga at St. Mary, the last game, I gave the upper hand to St. Mary. I actually made this one higher scoring because Gonzaga, a lot of their games are pretty high scoring, especially, and the other team scores high too. So it's not just, I feel like it's just Gonzaga that allows it. So, but it wasn't really, St. Mary took the game home in OT. It was Gonzaga's game. They were up 32 to 24 at the end of the first half. And then they put up 29 points in the second half, where St. Mary's put up 37 to tie her up. And then Gonzaga put up a whopping 9 points in overtime. St. Mary put up 17. So, yeah, St. Mary, big comeback win. Pretty impressive. St. Mary should jump up in the rankings. Gonzaga should drop down. I'd say Gonzaga should go to number 20. They've been overrated all season. And, yeah, that is it for this review video. I'm sorry this was such an ass video. I'm still really tired. I just woke up not too long ago, so yeah, I was really struggling to get words out. I was getting distracted. You could hear me yawning, but yeah, anyways, like and subscribe. You should, if you have any ideas for videos, go ahead and tell me in the comments. And yeah, that's all for me. Adios.